So this is going to be an interesting one, Trace.
Phase, you say? Well, interestingly enough, it's time to get the game underway. Astralis versus Bad News Eagles.
Thank you so much, guys. Yes, indeed. It is time to get this one rolling. And I think, no question, Blame F wins in the arm wrestling match.
Any representative from any team, and if he fails, we can put Trace in his spot, and then they can maybe tag team. But
maybe get Pasha back.
That's true. We'll get him on the phone. We know he's got some experience in the ring. Now, look, Astralis, the new boy, Mister, new map, Ancient. If I'm feeling there's any time for the young gun to step up and have some impact, it's going to be here on the green turf.
Possible. I mean, they basically plugged him into a pretty neutral position on an Inferno when we saw him. The opener, Rigon trying to get shots off already with the CTs getting aggressive toward the long A position. Not often you see that, but pistol round. They go straight up mid, so this will be a wrap. None of the prongs to the B side of the map, and with 2 at A, this actually may not be as easy as they think in terms of getting a passage toward that side, as GXX will take out Zipix. Rigon's already turned around. Good shot from Glaive. That'll make the opening a little bit easier as he runs and gets the drive-by onto juanflatroo as well, but now GXX still holds, and is the ball going to go back through Donut and back to B? I think it might have to.
Yeah, well, now we're in a bit of a rock and a hard place here. Glaive has given himself a winnable situation, something they can salvage. You're right with that call. The fact that they saw that A main contact, they figure, hey, we can split. There shouldn't be so many bodies on the site, but the Eagles were prepared for this, and so was sinnopsyy on the site, ready to deal with Glaive here in the steps, calling the rotation of GXX, and back turn. Glaive should go down, and will. A little bit wobbly there for a moment, but sinnopsyy will finish it off, and that's a great start for the Eagles here. I think, you know, when you look at this map, if Astralis try and play mid and the B lane area aggressively, that can play into Bad News Eagles' more scrimmy, firepower-based style. They'll gladly take those fights around the utility, right? We're going to have the smokes towards cave, the util of the Molotovs, lighting up the floor of the B lane, and I think the Eagles are going to want to scrap. I think, you know, if people have played pugging at home at this in the higher levels, you know that mid control, if teams are really good at it, they can guarantee they lock you out, they jump up B lane, they're just harassing you consistently, and you can have a lot of different flash pop combos. So if Astralis aren't able to contain this and force BNE to respect mid and B lane control, they're going to have a tough time. Being very cautious here. You can see even nades to clear out the pocket. Mr. Flatroo says they've got this one confirmed, and understandably so. Astralis coming into this with just a couple of Glocks and a P250. There's one flashbang, and Blame's really just chilling out. So is Farley. They're hanging in spawn here.
Like not even moving, you know?
It's a French timeout.
Yeah, that's what we've been calling it all this time. Yeah, classically and famously has been. But they'll start the move now. Tons of sound cues going off around the map. They know they're up against MP9s.
If they do the close mid flash that we've seen Rops throw previously, sinnopsyy and GXX could be in a little trouble here. So Glaive has that available to him. He's lining it up now. This is exactly the flash I was talking about. But are they going to wait for Blame and Zip to get back over before they initiate?
Ooh, they didn't throw it. They didn't go for it. Now they're going to back it off, but shoulder check already. GXX is going to see Mister. No movement yet from sinnopsyy. Oh, he's going to come around the corner. He's going to come around the corner. There's going to be a lot there, but he isolates the first shot, so that works out. And no response at all from Astralis. 30 seconds left in this round.
Have to die. So, gentlemen, you might want to get a bit of a wriggle on here.
Toward B. sinnopsyy will pinch them in, or excuse me, A. I still do that from time to time on this map. Gonna get pinched in, and I think they will die, Chad. I think that's fine. They'll get their money. But not a single kill, and they give up 2 to an MP9.
Well, it felt like the flash play in mid was the best option there. So Mister, when he was doing those jiggles, didn't see enough, or maybe saw too much, and they didn't commit to it. But regardless, a bit of a nothing round, and now we will get the guns out. Maniac was talking about config on this map and his aggression. Well, you've seen the plays that have been highlighted by different, you know, YouTube analysts, and we've had it on broadcast before to do with the mid plays from config. Anybody can do that with the spawn. It's just do they have the tenacity to do so. And if they are missing config to try and buy them that early space, somebody else has to step up to the plate here, likely to be Glaive, but it's a full mid and B lane press. No A presence. This is very old school CT setup on Ancient. Bad News Eagles just don't even have a caretaker. Flash forward, step out. Nobody spotted just yet, but Zip has all that info.
Knows there's 2. Obviously heard the first one peek, and then the second one with the nade high, so put some speculative shots back toward long. And he fades off the doors as well, so they're going all the way back on this. This one, Flatroo wants to try and get out cave.
Yeah, pretty timid start, really. not wanting to take the argy-bargy, waiting out most of this util, and that's going to fall into their favor here. Astralis holding onto their goodies. As long as they don't lose an individual, they will have the utility advantage for a bomb site execute. sinnopsyy, with this aggressive A main control, could be huge. If we do see an A split or a donut play come in, that'll be a pivotal position.
Oh, yeah. This is easy. They turned around. He couldn't go quite as disciplined as he wanted, but he's picked up an AK for the price of an MP9. And juanflatroo's going to actually find another one with the SMG. sinnopsyy still holding back toward boxes, and Astralis looking a little flat so far. You're absolutely right. Timid in the first round. And now, this one, very slow to get toward the site. 27 seconds when they try and do so. Only the man advantage, mind you, for B&E. So if they're fast enough, they can isolate, but this is the problem. sinnopsyy's on the flank, and Blamef goes down. Bomb gets planted, but this is a large ask right now for Farley and Xyp9x. And Farley, he's going to go down immediately, trying to take that first fight, knowing where the player that took his teammate was. Xyp9x in the corner, starts and fades. He goes back toward Cave, but the peak comes out, and he drops. It's 3-0.
Great push over towards that A main position, right? It caught them an awful lot here. So the ones dictating the tone of this early are the Eagles. Tried that full map press mid and B lane, then they dropped back and actually reinitiated in the mid round. So good stuff, right? It wasn't just won or lost in the early stages. They played this one tidily, and sinnopsyy with a whole lot of impact here. So getting a lot out of these bonus guns. The MP9s finding a bit of punch, and well, down to just not a whole lot from the Astralis side. A Mac 10 equipped for Glaive here, a couple of Tech 9s of Deagles, so light pistol upgrades with util. But this is a good start for the Eagles. This is a type of match where, obviously, namesake, you have Astralis as the favorites, maybe even the firepower in the server, but I think the Eagles can really win this.
Oh, absolutely. Look, they played very well against Eternal Fire. We know Eternal Fire is a team that is... Look, they're at 0-2 in this event, but they're a team that can play just about anyone close on the right day. Obviously, Voxic destroyed and dismantled Team Liquid at Pro League in the group stage. They nearly got through in that. So I think there's still some validity to B&E winning that game, and they deserve some credit for it. I have a question just to break our mind away from this anti-eco situation that's going pretty swimmingly so far for B&E, and to get away from the European minor.
Okay.
That I still call it a minor. Why? The Road to Rio. Because I want to know your opinion on the fact that somehow NA got all three of their teams 2-0 in the Americas Road to Rio.
Well, I think that ESL Pro League actually plays a big factor in the quality of those teams. Now, you can take Liquid out of the picture, but for complexity in EG, it was like a mini boot camp in the league.
Yeah.
It means, hey, we can get on board with the European meta and now bring this up against the South American, other American opponents and throw them aside, which is kind of what we saw. I think EG yesterday, we've seen them gradually improving. We've seen the pieces of the team gradually looking better and better, and maybe some of the names looking more like themselves. So I think that's a huge positive for the region here. Maybe some hope and belief.
Yeah, it's a good point. I think there's a bit of recency in that they're fresh. They've come off of a pretty grueling period, the 5 weeks of Pro League. Not that they were there for all 5 weeks, but you get my point. The non-stop action and the amount of teams that were here and participating and practicing. So,
what have we lost?
He's looking for something, isn't he?
We've lost something quite important here. Do we need to get out? Oh, we found what we were looking for. Okay.
So I was going to say, it's got to be utility. He's got everything else that you'd need. So he's got the smoke now. Thank you very much. I'll get this in position. So that's going to buy a little bit of time. Gotta love water in spawn. We're gone though. Forward of this. Oh, he sees them already through the wooden board, but it's flashes that go back in his direction. It gets caught out. Farley's going to find sinnopsyy as well. So they go 1 for 1 on this site so far. That's the best entry they've had yet, and they're trying to plant this bomb. Back exposed to keep the head down, but the nade through did do a bit of damage onto Xyp9x. They didn't elect to push behind it, so have to concede this plant. 3 with kits, a flash, a smoke, and an incendiary. The 2 former of those bits of utility are on the AWP player, GXX, who's now been tagged and significantly damaged, but sinnopsyyy's going to come back out and take Farley out of the picture. Well, juanflatroo that wants to get wide of this. He can hold this off as they go for the defuse already, and in fact, they're just going to get it. There's no chance Astralis can do anything about it from here.
Very easy. Very, very easy indeed. Didn't feel like too much sweat there for the BNE. That tag from Farley onto GXX, if that was a kill, maybe the difference maker in that round. So the fact that he doesn't finish him off, that util that you highlighted perfectly placed, they could have even smoked off towards A main, but they use it to conceal the bomb, not knowing where both of these final members are. But this is a great one. A very well put together retake from the Bad News Eagles. And this is the deal with this A site, right? Once the utility subsides, if the Ts don't have forward presence up in temple, in the site, forcing them through the tight choke points, then it is going to be not easy for the CTs to retake, but more than possible, especially when you compare it to like B on Inferno or B on Dust 2, maps that almost feel completely locked out. Ancient A site is a little bit more open, but a plant's good, another buy possible. Glaive into a Mac 10 again here, so this is telling me that he might want to get a bit of space, and he has a very good B spawn right now. They might want to try and challenge quite quickly into Cave or even rush straight up that B ramp. Worried about a mid-play here, the Bad News Eagles. Starting 3, Rigon, sinnopsyy, and GXX to lock that down. That's going to leave flatroo and sinnopsyy over towards the B side of things, and here's Glaive.
That is one thing, as much as I'm a supporter of this map, that the CTs, you're usually going to put a few people there to get mid-control, but you get it by default based on timing. So you can get it and then still rotate into Donut and beat them back to A. You can get it and then rotate back to CT and still cover off A. So usually, yeah, you're going to run your A players kind of like you would on Dust 2, take 3 toward long doors right off the start, for example, slow it down, and then fall back to your positions. And I think there could be a change in, I think maybe move T-spawn forward a little bit so you can rotate around the outside of the map faster. I don't know. That's the only thing I noticed with this map that I'm not convinced on. So now juanflatroo, they're going to take shots immediately. Juanflatroo is looking actually pretty solid in this game so far. 6 and 2 for him.
Well, the Dusk were touching more on Rigon, right? And where has he been? I think he might start warming up into things, and sinnopsyy's found another. Forget Bad News Eagles, it could be bed and breakfast right now for Astralis. They're just getting absolutely wrecked across the map here. This is a 6-0 start. I know that this map in certain matches can lean quite heavily to the CT bias, but we haven't really seen a whole lot from Astralis that seems like they're going just yet. And maybe that's because of the hodgepodge buys, right? The fact we're seeing Mac 10s and Galils. Wait till they get out all the goodies, all the AKs. It might have to be another round waited before that is the case, because Farley only has enough to get himself out a Galil here. So at least it's 4 AKs and a Galil, and quite the bucket of util here, but getting fired up. And this is one of the things with the Eagles. They're here, it's a bit more of a passion project. If they can get into another major back-to-back, this is life-changing for this team, and it's the model that I think Valve wants to work. Hey, you don't need to be in a massive org. If you're good enough, you can qualify. And that's that.
They had the majors originally, and it was, you know, your top 8 almost in, your 16, they'd have their own qualifiers, quote-unquote, but when they brought in the minor system, and now, which is the RMR, in a different fashion and capacity, yeah, absolutely. I think it really opened up. We saw, well, go back to even just like the E-League, first E-League major, when we saw like Vega Squadron take down NIP, right? Now, I know in retrospect, NIP was on the way down. We know the CIS region has a ton of talent, but when would you ever have said, yeah, let's invite this Vega Squadron team, right?
This is the key of the open circuit, right? It's the absolute key of the open circuit here. Again, this A-main push with 2, Rigon and sinnopsyy. Farley tasked with dealing with this. Remember, he only has the Galil, so a bit harder on the shots. It won't be the 1 bullet to the head. It won't be any bullets to the head. He's gone and now scampering quickly through Donut. This is not easy.
Not at all. sinnopsyy flashed off. Big box to protect him, though. He's got the angle on it, sees the shadow, and makes no mistake on Mister, who's going to fall. Again, the advantage heavily now with B&E, and he's delaying. Nade out, tag down to 15. He's going to swing with 15. But that's because he knows Rigon's back into position now, and juanflatroo's already finding kills to cut them off. Blame F falls, and this one, I think, is also done. Glaive going to try and rush it just like the pistol round. Back over to the other side of the map, but
should get in and get a plant here, Matt, which is key.
I don't even think B&E care, though. Look at them. If they cared, they'd be rotating sooner, but you're right. He's going to get a plant at least.
He is very worried about somebody hanging around, but I think this is a test to the Bad News Eagles' rotation time. You can see them just swarm over towards that A site. Now the bomb's down. Glaive, he'd love to win a 1-on-4.
Swing this, and they're all going to be there. So he's going to have to be perfect on his first shot. Nails it, gets off of it. Knows they're there. He can hear them now. Tries to line up the second. Problem is, if he goes back the other direction, he gets too far away from the bomb. Doesn't even matter. sinnopsyy with the shot, and 7-0.
It's kind of annoying the way that they just handled that. You know, when you watch, like, I don't know, 9-year-olds playing football and they're all running after the ball. Soccer, for those of you who...
That's fine, I'm with you. And I know what you mean when you said running after the ball.
They're all just, everybody on the pitch just running after the ball. Like, they're with the Bad News Eagles, like, well, we don't actually need to lock him in. We can all just swarm the bomb and make him come to us. So I like the play right there. Very direct approach.
Well,
and I think that's
the numbers, man. Like, why not, right?
Yeah, truly. And I think that's one of the keys to this Bad News Eagles side, because early they're just flatlining Astralis. It's going to be their second timeout called in those 7 rounds. And I'd be getting a little bit worried right now if I was the Danes. You've got 1 kill on Blame, and Yanko said he considers him to be a top 5 rifler in the world. You need him to stand up. I know he does his better work on the CT side. This is traditionally where you would need config. But if they don't get any rounds on the T side, there won't be many CT rounds for Blame to work with at all.
And look, there's lots of rumors about Device maybe coming back to this lineup, but even that I'm not sure is enough, because you know, you bring in him, let's say he goes, I suppose if, depending on the complexion of the team, let's say, and we're going down hypotheticals here. Let's say config is out. You put Astralis directly into his position. He can be the double opera, and we know Device can rifle. So maybe if he's feeling rusty, hasn't been playing as much. I know he has certainly been grinding out FPL and stuff, and that's been more and more apparent. But let's say he doesn't feel comfortable straight on the op right away, and you just let Farley keep running it for a while, and you just let him be dynamic. You might get some of that natural aggression back. But if he does go onto the op, you're still going to need a star rifler on this team, in my opinion.
Oh, it's definitely a mix that Astralis will have to deal with in the future. I think in the now, I was just having a quick look. BNE have been dictating the pace, and they've been getting all of the opening kills. So that needs to change for Astralis. Maybe just an opening pick is the difference maker that they're looking for here. And they're not going to get it this round. sinnopsyy's found his 5th in the game so far. He's going to double up. Glaive gone as well. If Mr. Flatroo looks down, he'll see Blame, but Blame should get the better of him here. There it is, in the side of the body. And they get 1 back, but feels a little bit too late.
I love how we saw that in real time, third person. He turned around and then looked up and was like, oh, hey, I'll take care of that. Blame's gone, and taking care of potentially another round tier is B&E. So timeout not yielding much, as Xyp9x now with the bomb in hand. Mr. will go toward middle. They mentioned on the desk that they played this last at Blast, and they took down FaZe. Speaking about Astralis, obviously, and the map bang. But I don't know that with Mr. N, like you say, you need him to step up. I'm not sure that this is the greatest situation. And best of ones are difficult for these exact circumstances. You don't get to show depth. You don't get to build into it. You better be spot on the map you're going to end up playing. And remember, it's ban, 2-ban, 3-ban, 2-ban to end up where we are.
Yeah, precisely. That's the, what is it, the Prime? Is that what they're calling it these days in the matchmaking? But the same veto system that everybody's used at home when you're queuing competitively.
Which I don't do, because I don't have 4 future pros on my team, Rushley. No one does.
You know, maybe you queue on your own. You get some good teammates.
We didn't, last Pro League, we had a lot of games going on in Dusseldorf. We had, you know, Alex was there, and I think Blay and everyone was there. We were all jumping on. I think Blay was playing with us from Katowice.
Yeah.
But we had some great matchmaking. This time, I haven't played a game yet with you guys. I don't know, maybe you just didn't invite me back.
I haven't been playing any Counter-Strike, not on the night shift, mate. But there's an opening kill. It's been get home, cast, and go to bed. Wake back up and do it all again. We've been on this little road for 6 weeks now, but GXX, he's going to have to fight, stand and deliver. The molly's behind him, can't go back, has to go forward. And, well, there's the backup. Thank you very much, Rigon. And even with the opening kill on the pebbly little pistols, it's a 9-0 start. This is looking way too easy for the Eagles.
No, this is something else. Astralis just not out of bed at all. You're absolutely right.
What is it, 15 kills for Astralis in the first 9 rounds, and sinnopsyy has 15.
It's crazy. Bad News Eagles as well, a team that there was, obviously they made a bit of a dent at the last major, but they elected to stay with this sort of self-organization, if you will, in a lot of ways.
Better than giving up your sticker money, I'll tell you that much.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Especially because, unfortunately for them, with the circuit not quite being as open as it was in terms of, you know, having a lot of the 2nd and 3rd tier tournaments constantly running, as we did in 16 and 17 and even 18, which I think was a bit too much. Yeah, your sticker money is going to be your predominant source of income, because majors are going to be the cycle that you're involved in. Good double from Rigon. He starts out with 2. Xyp9x will put him down afterwards as sinnopsyy looks back toward middle, but he's going to have to cover off a Molotov to hold his positioning, and Farley's going to cover the donut instead. So you need to get bomb plant off this. Not exactly safe to do so. You can't go inside Temple anymore and pick your battle as much, pick your poison as much toward donut as formerly, so he can only watch left side, which means he's not going to see both players in this because they are working up in that direction. He might catch Scenario rotating over Farley, but sinnopsyy's still close, and he knows he can deny the bomb and has the best chance of doing it. With that, M4 goes out, takes the aim, and he does exactly that. Swings out and gets both.
This is a masterpiece. What? It's not a retake. The bomb didn't go down. They denied the bomb going down, but you see that right there. The jumping across from the donut position. He jumps back to the left side for Farley. He's going to be focused the entire time on the peak from the left side. So as soon as sinnopsyy decides to swing out from the right side, it's where the crosshair wasn't expecting it. And he denies the plant, continues to flush forward. That's a nice shot from Farley, sure. But this play, fantastic Counter-Strike from the Eagles here. Just heads up situations, and I'd be getting fired up as well. This is looking good. I didn't realize we had another 16-0 available to us here this early.
I mean, the thing is, there's not a ton of map scores available for a team like BNE. So when you look at it, Ancient is only their 4th best map percentage-wise, but they only have 2 losses on it, which is the same as Nuke, Mirage, and Inferno. And you're more likely, as I'm just going to talk over this one because you can all see what's happening.
1 for 3.
You're more likely that you're going to play maps like Nuke, Mirage, and Inferno more. So to say that it's 4th in their pool, but a 5-2 scoreline, you're in the 70% win rate, as with all of the others I mentioned. They actually might prefer this map. They just get it banned out against them. And that might be something Astralis isn't quite as aware of, having not played these guys as often. So they may have been baited into this, I think, in a lot of ways. Like this looks like a very comfortable playing field right now for BNE.
It's way too easy. And look, we can keep talking about sinnopsyy's performance because he's having another one of these beast modes. We've had players pop off. He's the one doing it right now. 21 kills, 3 deaths, 2 assists in the mix, and finally trying some mid-pressure here. Mister in their own smoke. BNE will respect this immediately. They'll relinquish control, they'll dip back. Flatroo finds another opening. In 12 rounds of play, the Eagles have found 11 opening kills. Yeah,
that's pretty wild. That's actually insane. Flamef's going to get juanflatroo down, though. He catches out the mid-aggression. The smokes have given the position slightly to Astralis. Mister, low HP, still finds the shot. Now we've got something to work with. 4 on 2. So apparently quelling that mid-aggression early was the solution, because BNE, yeah, you're right, they had a plan, they backed off, they were willing to give it to them, but it didn't really amount to much. They didn't react and rotate off of it. They ended up taking fights. They lost out on it. Again, Mister's gonna find a kill with 8 HP. He now finds a 7th. He does lead the way kill-wise, Chad.
This is the thing, little zoomer on the zoomer map. Same with Vertigo, right? I know that the younger guns, you look at the different, like, yes, Portal, for example, with a lot of Swedes, they love Vertigo plugging over there. Scenario, you may as well give this one a go. You have so much cash to your name here, and it's a difficult task. You have to get past this smoke. Maybe he doesn't want to give up the AK, but you can see he's just playing deathmatch at this moment, worried about Glaive, who was positioned over towards the A side. He's done the full rotation all the way around. Now, the question becomes, because we know that BNE can put up a massive CT haul. I think we saw the same thing when they played against Eternal Fire on Dust 2, right?
Yes.
So it's the T side that is the issue. So for Bad News Eagles, what do they need, 12? 13?
I don't know. I can't comment, because right now what we're seeing from Astralis is also concerning me. So it really depends on what we're going to get from Astralis on the CT side as well.
No, that's true. That's fair.
So it's and Jason and I were talking about this yesterday. It's not like, I mean, you remember with the former economy system and the hard resets, you get teams that would get like a 12-3 lead and they'd start crab walking with like dualies and stuff. Again, NIP comes to mind, like Inferno. No one really takes a lead for granted anymore with the economy system. So I don't know. I don't know what you need. Sometimes 15's not enough.
Well, I think they need to go for this same mid-pressure again, even if it's just the Infinity Molly towards the donut position and an Extinguish on the deep CT. They didn't go for the Extinguish, which means the mid-pressure is not the same here. We'll see GXX post up quite aggressively in towards the mid-cubby. Rigon and sinnopsyy over towards A, Flatroo and Scenario on B. And this is just a bit of a default spread. But if Astralis can get an 11-4, they're still in with a very good shot in this best of 1. But I feel like 11-4 seems somewhat essential, if not 12-3.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I mean, you definitely need some rounds to work with when you cross it over, but from Astralis' perspective, they need every round. That answers that question. From a BNE perspective, what do they need? I can't answer that until we see what they're going to be like on the other side, and vice versa. But that's easy to say for the team that's down early, right?
For sure. I think, right, the fact that if they keep the tenacity up and they don't feel too flat, that's the thing as well. When you're Astralis and you're getting beaten so badly, gotta make sure you don't give up. Nade. Well, no, I thought they would have done a bit more damage there. So slightly behind. Trajectory looked all right using the angled wall, but they step out. Zips found another opener. Okay, starting to string some together now.
Molly down. GXX with a flash inside of the cave position just to be sure that no one's there, because they don't have any presence toward Jaguar or in that spot. On, good shots. Glaive immediately trades though, so they still have the man advantage. Second op gonna come over to the same position as GXX will hit Glaive. It's not enough to take him down, and he still has a headshot angle. Nade getting it out there is tough. Yeah, he doesn't want to overcommit to the peak as a problem, and it's quite easy to clip the walls in that situation. There's a lot of off-angle breaks as well. sinnopsyy though continues to step up. 23-4, by the way. case you were wondering, outrageous scoreline for him right now. 13's the next closest on the team. He's been doing it all, but he's gone now. And what can you possibly expect? However, Glaive's low on HP here. Blameth is looking in the right direction. juanflatroo steps wide and looked to the low HP player, but didn't anticipate Blame F. So it is going to be 2 now for Astralis on Ancient.
That is the perfect example of why Bad News Eagles don't have the same caliber and class of a lot of top teams. What was the need to hurry through CT spawn when Flatroo was flanking A main? There wasn't. It was a rhetorical question. There was plenty of time on the clock. There was kits to work with. They managed to get these 2 nice kills, but they stayed committed to the fight instead of backing off and allowing the next player to reinitiate. And Blame comes out. He'll scoop up one. Glaive will combo with him, take out that prong, and both of them, they must have heard Flatroo. They knew he was coming. They just dismantled. So that's 2 now, 2 consecutive rounds, and 1 more of those, and they can break the Eagles and likely grab the last here in the half very easily. So they are starting to grind them down, and that pressure point, I think, felt immediately here because you see a complete mood shift out of the Eagles late in this one. Not soaring anymore. That smoke, it's so simple with Rigon's position where he's playing. 1 smoke lands, he either has to initiate aggressively through it and put himself on an island in the site where rotation can't help him, or rotate all the way around to Temple and then essentially give up the entire real estate of the bomb site. So wasn't a good decision either way for poor Rigon. Oh, I like this.
I was going to say, that's wallable completely. That is the top of the door. I know it can be dark in some monitors and situations, but yeah, not often you see people go for that shot. He reads the setup very well. juanflatroo still manages to get 2, though, working back from Cave, and the Molotov in front of Mr. delays this ever so slightly. So GXX has time to line up a shot with the AWP. Not going to happen. Mr. continues to step it up. 9 kills now for him. Still a long road to Rio if you're down 11-2, and it might be worse. sinnopsyy, 25 kills now in the half. What a score. And he might find a 26th. Both are low. So really, this comes down to who sees the other faster and who reacts. Blameth gives away his position on the pillar, but I think that was already obvious because sinnopsyy's pushed out and already cleared Cave. And Blame's waiting for a reaction before he even goes near that bomb. He must know that if he swings this, he's got to check the corner. He's got to take the shot. Pre-fire not going to happen. He was looking back to the second pillar. He didn't expect him to be that close at all, and sinnopsyy's up to 26.
It's just the transition from sinnopsyy there. Blame, that was in the blind spot, and he didn't consider it, which is kind of surprising, but they will get themselves up to 12, and that was a good round of trading back and forth on that B bomb site. The opener with that boost could have been fantastic, but it was only damage. The damage did come into play late. So handled from Bad News Eagles, they do get back into winning ways. And they have an opportunity now with the double AWP setup.
He has 26 kills. All of Astralis has 30, just to point that out.
Yeah, so it's continued. That transition has continued here. sinnopsyy's been an absolute beast, and it looks like there might be some aggression here. Car crash.
Oof. Yeah, head-on collision, but it subsides. Flames down still as the gas burns on the ground, but juanflatroo, not checked, goes for the bomb. Oh, I love it. Doesn't even react to the player jumping in front of him. He knows the deal. He knows what he's got to do. He's got Zippix in this one now as well, and he's up to 18 kills. Those two, sinnopsyy and juanflatroo, have dominated as we get a no-scope headshot through smoke to close out the half. I think that's the fitting way to end the half because Bad News Eagles 13-2 over Astralis. Yeah, they look pretty pleased with that. We'll take a break. We'll be right back.
Hey Future Pros! Back on Ancient, and this time with a smoke that should help you when taking the A side. This smoke will block off the CT spawn angle. To throw this smoke, line up with the middle of this brick. Aim up and put your crosshair over the top left of this brick. Then simply jump through the smoke. Just like that, the smoke will soar through the sky and land next to the side box, making it just a bit easier to take the elusive A site on Ancient. Good luck!
13-2, 26-5 for sinnopsyy, 18-7 for juanflatroo. This is an absolute beating. 10-5, 10-10, mind you. And then GXX, the AWP player, didn't have to do anything. His rifles were winning all of the opening duels. He was 5-4. That doesn't even matter because Astralis, with only 2 rounds, now have to put together a perfect CT side.
Oh, and we have the trope. This is a pretty important pistol round, especially for Astralis here. BNE can wrap this one up quite quickly and tuck Astralis into bed. Put them in the 1-2 column. Life on the line. As Mr. will take the initial exchange. A flash forward, he will have to fight here and cannot connect the dots. So opportunity squandered. They don't have so much utility on a pistol round like this, but they have warded them off for now.
Rigon jumping up toward the catwalk. Covers off boxes.
Glaive's made some kind of a call off of all this. He's called a lot of his teammates back over to bolster B. They've left Mr. solo now on A, Farley to babysit mid, and Blame coming over. The key piece of utility he has is this smoke. So if they do try and execute and he drops the smoke in time, it will be a gray screen.
Zipix, lots of shots in. sinnopsyy. Multikill that's going to get Blame F. Glaive's not done there, though. He wants more in this. GXX. It's another one. sinnopsyy's not done. This is the advantage. Mr. comes around. Good first shot on the re-entrance. Now they have a chance in the 2-on-2. Mr. holds. He needs to buy space. They know that Glaive's inside of the cave, but they can't deal with both at the same time. It's too spread out, and Rigon tries to isolate using the pillar, but he knows he's going to be pushed. Turns it back, and Astralis will get the pistol.
All right, good stuff, Mr. Reckon a wing or two there of the Eagles. Get on the defuse. They will scoop this round up. They'll pick up the Julies. They'll keep a P250. So good rounds, and this is the beginning. It is going to be a long road back for the Danes in this one here, but we've seen teams put together massive CT sides before, and maybe you're newer to Counter-Strike. That's how it used to be once upon a time. We had maps like Nuke and Train back in the early days, 1.6, where those maps were heavily CT-sided. We're talking pretty standard 12-3 halves, and that's why the pistol rounds have always been this conversation point. The Eagles, off the back of the plant, will get themselves a force. An AK for Flatro, 2 Galils in the mix, and 2 Deagles with Light U2. And they're heading over towards A. Now, I like this play considering the complexion of their buy compared to Astralis's. They only have 1 M4. So right now, the range advantage is with the Eagles.
Smokes go out. Glaive shots in, knows they're already at long. They're pushing them off this, though. Have to be careful here. Farley as well can't overcommit to this. Oh, he did. He went in. And who did he run into other than the hot hand of sinnopsyy, who now has 28-6 in 16 rounds. He's getting close to the equal totals of what you'd expect from Electronics. I guess not expect, but what we saw from Electronics game.
Yeah, that was wild. 41 kills on that Dust 2 match. Just absolutely farming versus Illumina.
21 rounds. Basically 2 kills a round. Shots out. GXX gonna force Blame F back. They've given too much space. They got beat on the call. juanflatroo's got Glaive down. Mr's got the only kill. So far, as sinnopsyy can't land that one, Mr's gonna back off. They have to save. It's 14-3.
Yeah, this one has got that sinking feeling for Astralis. Now, I mentioned what category they're going to find themselves in. This is still the best of ones for both these teams. They find themselves in the 1-1 column at the moment. Both of them beat Eternal Fire. Both of them lost to NIP in back-to-back days. So that's quite a curious one right there. But after this, the winner will find themselves in a scenario where it's a best of 3 away from qualifying for the major, and the loser will find themselves a best of 3 away from being eliminated. So the loser of this is going to have to come out on top in a 2-2 game if they ever want to make it through, in a timeout called. The third here for Astralis, but it's already panic stations. This is well and truly deep water right now. And who's going to save them? Because it's Mr. the one doing most of the damage in the frag department. 13 kills for him. The next closest is Glaive on 9. And he is the individual from the Academy roster stepping up to fill the shoes of Config during all of this. And yeah, what do you do?
I take back what I said. From the perspective we had a donut, it looked like he was jiggle peeking, but I didn't realize the smoke fully covered that. So no, Farley didn't really do anything wrong there other than maybe being exposed when he didn't expect to be. That was a pretty foolish shot to go through the smoke. I thought he overcommitted to it, but...
Yeah, I think he did try to throw his own smoke out there to play behind, and he actually scuffed it as well. So there was a little bit of misplay there from poor Farley, but regardless, that is a nice shot from sinnopsyy and in towards A. And look at the difference here. When BNE take control, they surge someone straight in. Look how far forward in Temple Rigon is already. Hello, well, I'm in your spawn.
Glaive takes out Rigon. GXX, though, not done here. Still pushing through, so no access back, and Glaive's just trying to find a way to survive, buy time. Doesn't matter. He's just giving GXX more. That pulls one away from the take that donut, though, but juanflatroo's not sold by it. He knows what's happening. He just shuts them down. 15-3. Pack it up, pack it in.
We're speedrunning here this morning. We do have 2 other streams running consecutively at the moment in 1-1 games. We have Bait taking on Fnatic, in case you want to go check that one out. Bait are actually winning. The young bucks from Ukraine taking on the international squad, and Spirit versus Gamer Legion, who turned heads a phase matchup. They're actually winning on Ancient over Spirit at the moment, 11-5. So you can go and check both of those out. You've got ESO_CSGO-B and ESO_CSGO-C respectively. Also have the Americas back on your screens today as well. So Counter-Strike doesn't stop, and as we move further into the weekend, you're going to get the Asian side of things as well down at PAX in Melbourne. But that's an opening kill, and this is probably the round here. What a performance this has been from the Eagles. I could even start rapping right now. It's a bunch of pistols trying to close things out against ferocious AK-47s, a bomb site that's being conceded. No space, no kills, no nothing. As Flatroo maybe trying to give him something. We'll find Blame just around the corner of the smoke. This has been a great performance from the Eagles.
Yeah, absolutely. Good to see another country we don't see often as well. By the way, just to note, I know most people probably are on top of this, but Kosovo is where all except for Rigon are from. So nice to have another nation represented and doing very well. 16-3. Now that looks great for them, and it is. I don't want to take away from it, especially sinnopsyy. What a performance on Flatroo as well. But man, oh man, it also speaks to the problems Astralis have.
Yeah, precisely. You think about Astralis, the legendary organization as far as majors go. Right now, they've just been dismantled, destroyed, and I think that was reflected in the Eagles celebration. They're happy with this one. It's a scalp to take, and they're sitting pretty in that 2-1 column. We'll throw this to a break, then the desk, and we'll be back with you shortly.